Hello and welcome back to Tony Northeastern and to another episode of building this station. Now you've probably noticed a little subtle change from the last video. Well, have you? Yeah, you guessed right. I have now added the goods yard office. This building is just going to house all the electrics for the whole station. See, I spent most of today putting in a power supply so I can operate the LEDs that are over in the refreshment room and Barbers. So, what we're going to do this week? Well, we're going to concentrate on this building here, these three buildings here, getting them up to scratch and more or less as much done as possible before joining it to that building. So, let's make a start. Let me just show you what I've done so far. I glued a piece of MDF on this side of the card here, and when it went off I drilled two holes through so I could support this block of wood here, which is holding the terminal blocks for the LED lighting. And then once that was done, I then put a false wall on to hide it. Because this room here, I will be putting detail in this room here. I'm going to create two little offices. I think one will be the parcel office and the other one will be the station master's office, in theory. And I've also strengthened it up for handling. I've come up with a design for some glass shelving to put some sticky buns on, because the comments I was getting was about shelving and a glass case for these sticky buns. So I'm going to have a go at that. Right, so as you can see, I have pre-cut the base and folded it in a few sections. So this becomes the bottom of the cabinet. So if I glue all that together, and then somehow I've got to radius the top and bring the top round. I've got an idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come down and mark it roughly about 8mm from the top. Right, and then from the edge of the ruler coming back towards the camera, just put a little slit in the plastic. What I'll do then is get my drill bit and just roll the middle piece. Don't know if this is going to work. Just going to cut that a little bit more, it's still not all the way through. Right, and just wrap it around the drill, just the middle bit only, hopefully. Just by doing that, roll it backwards and forwards. That doesn't work brilliantly, but you can get the gist of what I'm doing. It's kind of rolled it over a little bit. And what I'll do next is I'll fold it back and then cut off the excess at the top. So I'll super glue these flaps together. Try not to get on my fingers. Just press them down. Just hold that there for a few seconds. It's stuck to the mat. Right, there you go. So that's the bottom fixed, and the folded edge just seems to be coming close to the edge of the cabinet there if you look. So what I'll do is just cut off all this excess off, and we should have the cabinet then. So with the edges trimmed around the top, I'm quite pleased with the way that's turned out. So all I've got to do now is make a shelf to go in the middle, then we can put some tea cakes and that in it. Right, so I've cut out a little glass shelf, and what I'll do now is I'll just super glue that in, put a little bit either side on the flaps, not too much, don't want to frost up the glass, and I just drop that in there. So he says, easy said than done. Yep, I'm happy with that. Right, just need a couple of trays of sticky buns, apple turnovers, custard tarts. Oh, this is ready to go into the refreshments room now. As you can see, there's cherry bakewell tarts, custard tarts, and some other little bits and pieces in there. And it does kind of finish it off. We start doing any more detail to the building. I've got one more little job I need to do, and you can actually see it. You look through the windows and you can see a block of wood and cables. So what I want to do is cut a card, slot it in here, and hide the wood, but paint it so it looks like there's a counter and parcels and shelves, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to hide the eyesore you can see through the windows. I have cut my piece of card to hide the block of wood and cables, so I'm just trying to work out what would you see if that was the goods office. Well, I expect to see a counter maybe. This time I'll have the flap open, I think. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to disguise it just by drawing a more or less a picture, really. And then painting it afterwards. So something like that. So you've got a counter, you've got the counter lifted up and there's a door there, and you've got various shelves with boxes and bits and pieces on like that. So all that will hide that unsightly block of wood and cables. So I shall start painting it now. I'm just going to mix a bit of brown and yellow together, starting with the lighter colour first. Nice big dollop of yellow to start with, and then just add a touch of brown. Make sure you make enough to do the job. Right, clean my brush. Now, just give the brown a bit of a stir. I don't need too much of it. And mix it in, see what we get. It's gone like a honey colour. Yeah, I think I'll allow that. I'll do. So this is for the counter and the shelves. And because I pressed it home with a pen, the colour should come quite good and the lines should come through. So now we have our back scene, as it were. It's just a case of painting the wall in the background now, just to finish it off. So I'm doing that in a light green because most of the building walls are the light green, so it's just a case of finishing it off. Right, so that's the back panel or back scene finished, and once that's installed it'll hide that block of wooden cables nicely. Now, doesn't that look better than what we had there yesterday? I mean, you can't see all the painted board, but it just sort of hides the block of wood with the chalk blocks on and all the cables. As you can see, that's how I've stuck it on. Just slides in there nicely. The other thing I want to do before we move on is paint the two lower panes on that window down there, just to hide whatever you can see through there, which is still a block of wood, but I need this space in there for disconnecting and reconnecting the cables. But you can guess what I'm going to make next. Do apologise for the repeats, guys, but I am making more chimneys. There's 4 big chimneys to make either side of the main entrance. As seen in this photograph, obviously you got 2 that side, and you got the main entrance, and you got 1 there, but you can't quite see the other one. It's just out of photo. With a different photograph you can actually see it. It's this one here. So this pair here is the pair I'm going to concentrate on, as you can see. So this is the building we're working on at the moment. This roof is going to be removable, and it has, as you can see, just a small chimney in the back of the roof. It's quite low down compared to the other ones. They are slightly bigger in width on the breast side of the chimney. I guess it's because they are a double pot chimney. So I've cut 4 tops, but we'll keep them for another time because the flooring is different. with this building here, if I can just get you into focus, I have to go down a bit. Oop, no, up a bit. Right, here we go. Right, so with this floor in here, I've made it level with the platform, and when these chimney goes on, it'll be sitting at that height there. Right, I've made my two chimneys. One of them will go into the builder's yard until I'm ready for it, and the other one I'm just going to stick on there. Because I've got access, I can glue this now and paint it up when I come to do the other room on the main station. So that's what I'll do now. I shall glue that in there, and then that'll be this one fixed. Right, what I'm going to do now is just paint the lintels above the loading bay doors here. Just a concrete grey. And then once I've done that, I'm going to move on to the windowsills. All I did here with the lintels and the windowsills is just cut strips of paper and stuck them on. That's really it, really. They're 3mm wide. I think this is going to take some time. Now I'm going to start doing the Sunstone Windowsills, which is a matte 148. It's like a khaki yellow. And so this might looks a bit yellow going on, but don't forget it's got to be weather later. And the good thing about it now is I can cover up any indiscrepancies where the windows meet up the paper, so I can paint in the red card you can just about make out. Right, I've got 32 of these to do, and that's my first one. Right, as you can see, I've completed all the windowsills. It took most of the afternoon to do all these. And I did the cobblestones as well. I think that one needs another coat. You can still see the pencil line. And I did the sill underneath the rose window as well, so they're all done. And round here too. Don't know if it make a difference now just by adding the sills. And also I've added the last LED to go in on this section of the build, so that's all done. So there's only a couple of little jobs left to do on this building itself. There's the roofs, of course, chimney pots, the weathering, and also the brick line which goes about this height, which goes all the way around the station as well. We are looking at another photograph of South Shields. It's fairly later on, this one, late 70s, early 80s. Now if we look a bit more to our right, we'll see the goods office, what we're working on at the moment. And you see this blue line? Well, it's not blue lined, it's a sandstone effect, which they've put in. I'm going to do that in blue brick, and I think it'll look quite good, just to break it up a little bit. Right, as you can see, I've gone a little bit around the building. I've just done the gents in the luggage room. just to start with. I'm not going to go around the tops like it is in the photographs, but what I will do is I'll have a brick course on edge going around the tops, and I think that would finish it off nicely. As you can see, I'm adding the blue brick line to go around the whole station, and I am using PVA glue to stick down the blue brick course. The reason why I'm using PVA wood glue is it goes off just that little bit slower, and it gives me time to manipulate the bricks in place. That rocket card glue is just too quick for doing something as delicate as this, because you need a little bit of time to make sure that the bricks are where they should be. So I'm looking along the line is good, and we should have 39 millimeters from the floor to the underside. See what I mean? I can still move the course, even though it is going off. You can feel it sticking. I'm wanting to bite. Just this side a little bit more. Just push it towards the bottom. Right, I've got 39 there, 39 there. That's good. It's following the brick course. I'm just wiping off the excess glue. Like so. I'm taking a break at the moment from doing the blue brick around the building, and I've decided to make this Barbers roof pole. I've had a couple of comments quite recently about making one of these, so let's have a look, shall we? I've got a few pieces of kit that we might need to make it. I've got a little bit of very fine plastic sheeting. It's very flexible. You can get that from most packets, so that's because you need something flexible, because I'm going to try and roll it. A strip of paper. It's roughly 9mm wide by, I'm not sure what length, but I'll have to work that out when I come to trim it. And a little piece of plastic card. Right, so firstly, let's make the bracket that the pole is actually going to sit in. So according to my figures here, the bracket needs to be 7mm wide. So I'll cut a piece of plastic at 7mm wide. Right, it needs to be 14mm in length. So we've cut that at 14mm in length. So it's not very big. These are not actual sizes, these are just something I thought I'd make up. And two pieces 6mm square. Well, it won't be, yeah, 6mm square. Does look a little bit white. I might have to trim it down a bit more, but we'll see. So what we'll do there, that will form the bracket like so, and I think that looks a little bit too big, I think. Yeah. Well, what I'll do then, I'll redesign that and bring it down to 5mm wide. Let's make it 6mm wide. Let's just trim a millimeter off of that. See what it looks like. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Right. And we'll take a millimeter off of them as well. Right, so we've got our 3 pieces of plastic card. What I'll do with 2 of them, I will round the edges over. 2 pieces. Just take the corners off. Right, so that's them 2 done. Right, so the next thing is we've got to make the actual pole. I'm going to roll this piece of paper up. I'm going to mark it first. Mark it, say about 50mm, and we'll see how much that gives us when we roll it up. We want the pole to be at least 5mm in diameter, I would say. Right, I have stuck that and made a roll out of it, so it's about 4mm in diameter and 9mm long. So that would then sit between the 2 brackets I've just cut. Right, now that it's dry, what I'm doing is I'm just getting a red pen, holding it at 45 degrees, and just rolling the card putting a red stripe on it. Well, I've had a couple of attempts at it, and this was the first attempt. As you can see, I went too big with the ink and it doesn't look all that great, but the second one has come out a lot better, I think. So we're going to go with that. So now I've got this, I just need to make the glass that goes around it. So I'm just using P180, quite fine paper, to take any of the roughness off those 2, plus this bit, the actual plate. So what I'm going to do with this is just take the corners off of this as well. So all I'm going to do with this, just take the corners off. Now we know that that's 9mm, and those little bracket supports, it's only a millimetre, so I'm just got to mark out where the 9mm is going to go. Pencil, I can glue one of these on ready. Right, so as you can see, I've made up the bracket that's going to support the rotating pole. So I'm going to let that dry because it's only just glued together. So we'll leave that and we'll concentrate on the glass. So what I'm going to do is exactly the same as what I did when I made up the original pole. I'm going to roll this piece of flexible sheet, plastic sheet. So I'm going to cut it a strip at 9mm. Now, don't particularly need too much of this to glue to the pole. So same as before, I'll get the trusted screwdriver to make a start and just see if I can roll it. If this works, doesn't want to play. It's just getting that first bit to hook under itself. Just don't want to do it. Let's try something different, use my fingers. There she goes. Might as well just keep rolling it and rolling it now. Let's roll it a bit more. Because the idea then is to just make a sleeve to cover the pole. Rolling it so it's really tight. Right, so I'll just cut out the bit that's in the middle, where it's its most springiness. As you can see, it wants to wrap itself around me now. It didn't want to curl up at all. Right, so what do now? Just put that in there. All that around, just cut a little bit off. Right, I think that will do. I'll just super glue that together and we're done. Alright, what I'll do is I'll put, although you can't see the joint, it is there, so I'll just stick that to the back when I come to glue it into the bracket. And there it is. I'll wait till the bracket's dry, then I'll paint it white and then I'll glue it in. Right, now that the paint on the Barbers pole bracket is now dry, I can add a couple of these little pips which have come off a kit, and I've kept them because they're just, well, they weren't part of the kit, but they were holding little bits in place. So what I'm going to do now, just to finish it off, I've already stuck one on, as you can see. I'll get that and zoom right, and I'll stick one on the bottom, and then what I'll do is I'll paint these silver, and then that will finish it off. And here is the Barbers pole. It's finished and it's just sitting on the building there, it's not stuck down. The reason being is I've still got work to be done on this building on the exterior, mainly the stonework to go around all these doors and windows, and so I'll be manhandling this building for a little while longer. And with the addition of the blue bricks has really changed the appearance of the station again. The windowsills have now been painted, and it's slowly coming together. And here's where we left off about half an hour ago. Well, half an hour in your terms, but a couple of days in my terms. And now we have the goods office completed. That's all the brick structures done. So this is the complete building now, as you see it. There's still a bit more work left to do. I think at some point I'm going to have to glue all three sections together. Yeah. Right, I think that's all from me this week, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching now. Bye.